This story is about inner space, not outer space. It was my daughter who broke it down for me when she says, Papa, look, don't worry. If he can play Muhammad Ali, he can play you. I was crushed. How do you become homeless? How do you become homeless? And not just homeless, but homeless with a baby tied on your back and still pursue your dreams. How do you do that? Too many times folks think it's always alcohol. In my case, no. Drugs, no. There's something just as lethal as both of them. It's called life. Life happens. And the truth of the matter is, we have unfortunately seen in our country the whole creation of a whole new class of homeless people. Something that I call white-collar homeless. Went to school, worked hard, played by the rules, and the world changed. As a young guy, 23 years of age, I had the opportunity of a lifetime. I had a chance to go to work for one of the top young heart surgeons in the country, Dr. Robert Ellis. We both met while we were in the military. I was a U.S. Navy hospital corpsman. Dr. Ellis had been trained by two pioneers of cardiac surgery, Dr. Denton Cooley and Dr. Michael B. Bakey at Texas Children's Hospital in Houston, Texas. So for me, to have the opportunity to go to work for, become the protege of someone of that caliber in science and medicine was huge. I was 23 years old, single, no children. I had a chance to move to San Francisco, California. I took the job for $7,500 a year. Dr. Ellis and I worked together for 4 years. We co-authored and published numerous articles in major scientific journals. About this time, I met, fell in love with, moved in with, and had a child with this beautiful woman who had just graduated from the University of California Dental School. Becoming a parent for me was the most important, precious, and loving thing that ever happened to me in my life. I was one of those little boys who grew up without a father. And not just without a father, but with a stepfather who was fond of reminding me every day, I ain't your daddy. You ain't got no daddy. Sometimes he put a 12-gauge shotgun right here just to make his point. I didn't know what a commitment was, but I knew what a promise was. And I promised myself as a 5-year-old boy, when I grow up, become a man, and have children, my children are going to know who their father is. So when I became a parent, this wasn't just some biological extension of the bloodline. There was a whole lot of stuff came with that. I had worked my way up to the top of the pay scale at the university. I'm now making $17,500 a year living in San Francisco. My ex had not passed her boards, she couldn't practice. We got a baby, I'm a breadwinner. I had to forget about a possible career in science. I had to forget about maybe a career as a physician. I got to take care of a family. I got a real job. I went into sales. The computer industry was in its infancy 40 miles south of San Francisco down on the peninsula. We moved across the bay to Berkeley, California to save money. It meant the nightmare of a commute, but you do what you got to do. But I was now making $25,000 a year. And I thought, man, we're going to be okay. Big guys in the business that I was in at that time, the company's top salesman made $80,000 a year. I'll never forget this guy. His name was Ray Moss. He made 80 grand a year, and he used to walk like he was the NBC peacock. And I remember thinking, man, 80 grand. I want to walk like that. But one day, I happened to be at one of my accounts, San Francisco General Hospital, where there's never any place to park. I see something that's the beginning of my life changing. I don't even know it. I see a guy that's absolutely the sharpest guy I've ever seen in my life. No flash, no bling, just sharp. And he's slowly circling the parking lot in this beautiful red Ferrari looking for some place to park. I go up to the guy and I say, hey man, I'm coming out. You can have my parking place. But I gotta ask you two questions. The two questions were, what do you do and how do you do that? Turns out, this guy's a stockbroker. And not just a stockbroker, he's one of the top institutional salespeople on Wall Street, and he makes $80,000 a month. Now, I'm not the smartest guy in this room, but I'm pretty good with some numbers, Bo. I figured that out. One guy's walking around like the NBC peacock, the other guy was rolling like a rock star. I knew what I wanted to do. I started spending a lot of time with this guy in his office in downtown San Francisco, learning what a stockbroker does, when I was supposed to be 40 miles away selling scientific equipment. A couple of things happened simultaneously. Number one, I began to accumulate a huge amount of parking tickets. Double parking, illegal parking, late to feed a meter. Number two, every place I went to interview, I heard the same word. No. No, no, no. I interviewed for a year. I've been asked many times, you interviewed for a year to get a trainee slot with no guarantee. Do you think it was racism? No, absolutely not. There's another ism, something called placism. Think about it. I had never gone to college, did not come from a politically connected family, had no money of my own to invest in the stock market. Who's going to do business with you? That's placism. That could affect anybody in this room. But I kept coming back. I kept coming back for 1 year for one reason. My mother.